Hello there. How are you? I'm just getting my notes together right quick so we can get into this live stream for today. So, today we're talking about my personal secret to getting more and better paying freelance clients. This is the one skill that I had to learn from the very beginning to help me go from making five, nine, $25 for blog posts to making between $500 to $1,500 for blog posts. So if you're a freelance writer, then you definitely want to be able to listen. First of all, my name is Halana Black, and I'm a freelance writer. Been a freelance writer for the past 8, maybe 9 years now. For the most part, at this time, I'm writing for corporations, mostly tech companies, and I write marketing materials for them, and I enjoy it a lot. It's helped me to be able to live the life that I want. I find that these are the clients who want to be able to pay me well for my writing skills. And I don't work a lot. I actually live overseas at the current time. I live in Rwanda. And I have been living overseas for about 5 years now. In July, it'll be 5 years, my 5 year travel anniversary. And so I've been just really excited about getting to a point now where I can share what I've learned with other people so that you can go ahead and live the writing life of your dreams. So if this is something that's interesting to you, go ahead and like this particular broadcast. You can also share it with other people who may be interested in this information. And I also invite you to go ahead and click the subscribe button so you can get more of these great tips. So a little bit of my background. Um, so yeah, I was when I started 8 years ago, I really didn't know what I was doing. I had a few people that I was following online, um, and they gave me great information, but I also had a really, I didn't know, I had no business skills. And I didn't know how much money I really needed in order to be able to survive. I was thinking of a very piecemeal, you write by the piece. And so I was still thinking and working what it was like to be able to work on an hourly basis, which doesn't really work um, when you become a freelance writer. And I can certainly make another video about that another day, but I want to stick to this particular skill that you need to learn if you want to upgrade your freelance writing business. So I realized that working for 5, 9, and $25 per blog post wasn't going to be enough, and I needed to get a change in my mindset. So what I really needed to do was change my mindset from thinking like a job seeker to learning how to create my own opportunities within my freelance writing business. Because what I was doing was like many people who are job seekers, they would go online and they would look for jobs. So at the time, I was looking in Craigslist, like a monster.com. Um, what else? Was there Indeed back then? And a few other sites looking for freelance writing jobs. And what happens when you look for those freelance writing jobs, you get a bunch of people who their budgets aren't very big, and they want to tell you what it is that they want you to do. Also, a lot of those content mill sites, so sort of like Upwork, like what you would use today. It's gone through a few different phases of being called other things since I started my business, but basically like an Upwork sort of a thing where you had to compete with other people, for jobs that were paying literally next to nothing for tons of work that didn't make any sense. And so I really needed to figure out how to go from thinking like a job seeker, sitting back and applying for jobs, to creating my own opportunities. And so the skill that I had to learn was learning how to pitch. I had to learn how to pitch the companies that I wanted to write for instead of, sitting back, going on LinkedIn and, looking for all of these other jobs that, and sometimes on LinkedIn, you can get a lot of really legitimate jobs, but still the pay was really just quite poor for the amount of work that they were asking for. And so I wanted to do something different. So pitching was a skill that I had to do. I had to learn. So I'm going to go through basically how you can pitch, um, how you can pitch companies to be able to let them know that you're available. First thing you need to do is you have to have, um, in order to pitch companies, you need to have some sort of a portfolio. So whether you have a portfolio online or you use some other, third party sort of website like a contently.com, you can put your pieces that you've written. If you've written pieces for other people, you've got to have that in order to be able to pitch yourself to other companies. Next, you need to know um, what sorts of companies you want to be able to pitch. You have to have a niche. So, your niches could be anything. I tend to be in the tech space. So, there's all different ways that you can work in tech, but you can work in health. You could be writing for, nutrition companies. You could be specializing in, small businesses, and you can further niche it down to bakeries, all sorts of things that you can do. Um, Next thing you want to be able to do is to make yourself a list of companies that you would want to be able to pitch. Make a list of the companies you want to be able to pitch. So, what I do is I go online and I just do a Google search. So, if I'm in the tech space, I want to find the top 50 tech companies in Utah. Or if you want to even go further down, you might say like Austin, Texas, or in San Francisco, and find those companies, a list of companies. These companies exist. They make these sorts of lists. There's blog posts with these lists all over the internet, very easy to find. Um, find those lists, and then what you're going to do is you're going to find the appropriate person for the freelance market that you work in within that company. What I do is I go into LinkedIn. I use LinkedIn. You can use the free LinkedIn version, the free version of LinkedIn for this. You go on LinkedIn and you find the name of the company. And then I make a connection with the content marketing person in that company. Find the content marketing person. And then from there, or I'll send them an email if I can find their email address online. And I introduce myself. Hey, I'm Halana Black. I have experience writing with these sorts of companies. Um, it'll be great if you can say that you worked with companies that were similar to something that they work in. And then at that point, you want to be able to, you're just saying hello. That's it. You don't ask for work up front. You don't ask them. Um, you don't ask them any sorts of questions that sort of lead them into making them feel like they need to hire you. You're just making a connection, just letting them know that you exist. Sometimes what you'll find is that people will come back and they'll say, "Oh, hey, you're just in time. We desperately need a writer. Are you looking for work?" And I'm just like, "Hey, yeah, I'm available." And then we take the conversation from there. Um, but once they accept my connection request on LinkedIn, or sometimes they'll just write me back on email. Um, At another time, I'll come back and I will say, hey, um, it's been nice connecting to you. You might learn a little bit through their profile or things that they may um, some things that they may have shared online. You might be able to um, make some sort of a connection with them in another email or another connection post on LinkedIn, just to be able to say, hey, I saw that you were really interested in these particular interests. I do, some of the same things. Um, Perhaps we can connect over this particular piece of it, thing that we both have a shared interest in. And then somehow I'll weave into the fact that, by the way, does your company actually work with freelance writers? And a lot of people will either say yes or they do, or they don't. A lot of people have they might have their own in-house team, and that's okay because that can change. And the whole point of being connected on LinkedIn is that when that does change, um, you have a way of being connected to these people so that if things do change, you'll be the first person that they think about if you know how to use LinkedIn properly. Um, so, yeah, and just pretty much continuing a conversation with them. And then what happens there is that they'll say, okay, well, what is it? What is it that they will tell you oftentimes, listen, we need 4 blog posts a month. How much do you charge for that? Then I'm able to tell them how much it is that I charge based on what it is that they need in a blog post. How long is the blog post? How technical is the blog post? Um, how quickly do they need the blog post? All of these things um, are put into my price, and I'm able to give them some sort of a package of my services. We also have a conversation about other things that they may need either right now or in the future. So they may need blog posts, they may need an email campaign, they may need a customer case study. All of these things are things that I can offer. Um, and it depends on the company schedules, but usually it's the blog post, at least in my experience, is the thing that they often need the quickest. And we can just sort of use that as a way to be able to figure out whether or not this is a relationship that we want to be able to continue with. Um, so yeah, so basically that's the skill that you need to learn when you are ready to get higher paying jobs, and perhaps you want to be able to leave the content mills and just to be able to take better control of your freelance writing business as a whole. That's what you want. You want to be able to take control of your freelance writing business so you're not sitting out here at the mercy of people who are telling you that they can offer you $10. And you know what's really terrible about those 10 and $25 jobs is that those are the ones who give you the most hell about what it is that you're writing. These are often people who um, don't have much writing skill, to be honest, and they want to give you so much hell about what it is that you've written, finding every little thing that could possibly be wrong with it. But then when I write for other companies that pay me what it is that I ask for, um, very few, if any, response as far as things that I could change to improve it. So so many reasons um, to be able to get up and start pitching for better paying projects. The people who pay you better are also often just better clients overall. They give you less of a headache. Yeah. Um, so let's see. We're almost at 15 minutes. So let's go ahead and close the video. If you're tired of low paying work and you want to be able to take control of your freelance writing career, um, you're going to need a switch in your mindset. A switch in your mindset. That's something that I do work with people on. You can learn how to pitch all year, but if you don't have a switch in your mindset about how and why it is that you deserve to be paid better for your work, then the tips that I gave to you today, um, may not work. For some of you, you can take these tips and just you can go ahead and you may be able to get your next better paying job tonight. Um, but if you know that you need a change in mindset, if you want to be able to get some help in figuring out what your particular niche is, if you want to be able to walk through LinkedIn with me on trying to figure out how to find those particular clients that are going to be better paying for you, how to be able to come up with that list. I do offer one-on-one sessions with people to be able to help you figure those things out. This is what I did. Um, I should have done it earlier in my freelance writing career, but I actually didn't have the money to be able to pay for coaching in my freelance writing until maybe year three, like year three. And it really made all the difference. Just sitting down with someone to be able to ask questions really has made all the difference in learning how to be able to run a professional business. So if you just need a one-on-one session for 1 hour, I do that. You can go to my website. It's halanablack.com / freelance writing coach, or just go to halanablack.com and click on the link that says freelance writing coach in the middle of the page. And you can pay for your session right online. If you just have a quick question or you just want to say hello and introduce yourself, you can put your quick question down at the bottom, and I can see if I can do a video about that in the future that will be shared with everyone. So thank you so much. I appreciate you all hanging out with me during this video. Remember to go ahead and like the video, share the video with other freelance writers who could use this information, and go ahead and click the subscribe button. And I'll see you next time. Have a great day.